Today we talked about dividing decimal numbers by two-digit divisors. This is the same thing as dividing whole numbers by two-digit divisors, except you just put a decimal in your quotient. So I'll go over a couple of examples. 4.68 divided by 18. 18 goes into 4 0 times. 0 times 18 is 0. I subtract, and I get 4. 4 is less than 18, so I did the divide step, multiply step, I subtracted and I checked. Now I'm going to bring down. Now I have 46. Now, with two-digit divisors, it can be difficult sometimes to know how much one number goes into another. You could do it one of two ways. You can estimate really quick, or you could do guess and check. If I were going to estimate, I would say 18 is about 20, 46 is about 50, 20 would go into 50 about 2 times, like that. But if I wasn't sure, I would just take 18, and I would multiply it by different numbers. I'd start with 5. 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Well, 90 is way bigger than 46, so I'm going to try 3 now. 18 times 3 is, 8 times 3 is 24. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. And 54 is too big, so now I'm going to try 2. 18 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And looks like it goes in 2 times. There's nothing wrong with doing guess and check. As you can see, it takes a bit longer. But if you just round these in your head, you can usually figure out what the next number is or come very close to it. So that was my divide step. My next is the multiplying step. Well, I already did the work here. 18 times 2 is 36, so I put a 36 underneath here. Then I do my subtraction step. And 46 minus 36 is 10. 10 is less than 18, so I checked it and it works. And I bring down the 8. So now I need to figure out how many times 18 goes into 108. Well, 18 is about 20, 108 is about 100, and 20 goes into 108, 20 goes into 100 5 times. So it's probably about 5. I did 18 times 5 here. I got 90. So now I'm going to try the number after that and see if I can get even closer. So when you estimate, you usually get either the right number or you're off by 1. Guess and check, you may have to do it a bunch of times, but either way is fine. So 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10, and it looks like it goes in exactly 6 times. By the way, one advantage of guess and check is that when you're doing all this work, you come back and you start doing the divide steps. You do this whole cycle several times. You can look back on your work to see if 18 goes into the next number. And using guess and check, I already did 18 times 5. I can see that it's close to 108, but I might be able to get closer, and it turns out that I can. 18 times 6 is 108, so it goes in 6 times, and I put 108 down here, and I subtract, and I get 0. There's no remainder. Now, here's the part that concerns decimals. There's a decimal here, so I put a decimal right above it in my answer. 0.26 is my answer. Now you have to be very careful that you line up these numbers correctly. If I put the 2 here by mistake, I would get 2.6 as my answer, and that would be wrong. So that's why it's very helpful to put a 0 here right on top of the 4, or a space, or an X. Whatever you need to do to make sure the 2 goes in the right place, because 18 does not go into 4, but it does go into 46 twice. All right, so now we're going to do number 2. 23, or this is 52.9 divided by 23. So 23 goes into, I'm going to erase everything so I have space. 23 goes into 5 0 times. 23 times 0 is 0, so that was my divide step. My multiply step, now I subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5, and I check, is 5 less than 23? Yes, it is. Then I bring down 23 goes into 52. Well, I say 23 is about 20, 52 is about 50. It probably goes in 2 times, but if I need to guess and check, I can say, I can just start with 5 and adjust my partial quotient until I get a number that's really close to 52, but not over. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Oh, that's way too big. I'm going to try 3 now. 23 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. Oh, that's a little too big. 23 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 46 works. So my estimate of 2 was correct. You can estimate or you can guess and check. Either way is fine. So I'm doing the divide step again, and I got 2. My multiply step, I already did it here. 23 times 2 is 46. Then I subtract them. 6. I can't take 6 from 2, so I borrow. 12 minus 6 is 6. 4 minus 4 is 0. Is 6 less than 23? Yes, it is. So I'm done checking. Then I bring down the 9. So if I were going to do this with estimating, I would say 23 is about 20, 69 is about 70, and I would say 20 would go into 70 about 3 times. So it's probably 3. Now, if I look back at my work that I already did, if I were guessing and checking, I would see that 23 goes in to 69 exactly 3 times because I already calculated it over here when I was trying to find the last one. So both ways give me 3 as my partial quotient here. That's my divide step. My multiply step, I already did that, so I put 69 here, and I subtract. 9 minus 9 is, 69 minus 69 is 0. So I subtracted. Of course, 0 is less than 23, and there's nothing to bring down. So I'm done with the numerical part of my division problem, but I have to put the decimal in the right place. Once again, all I have to do is take this number, or excuse me, this decimal, and put it up here. And that's it. As long as these are in the right place, these are lined up with these numbers in the dividend, all you have to do is pop the decimal up, and then you're done. So it's 2.3.